for a reason. All right. Because every challenge is there to help us grow. All right. Every challenge is going to get you through a great victory. You're going to get through it. And when you get through it, there's a great victory waiting for you on the other side of it. So there's reasons why you want to continue to lead yourself. All right. Because before you can help others, you got to help yourself. Right. When we're on an airplane, right, what do they say? Make sure you put your mask on first before you put on the person's mask next to you. Why? Because if you go and try to put on someone else's mask without putting on yours, you could fail at it, right? Because you were more focused on helping someone else before helping yourself, right? Remember, I was actually telling this to someone yesterday. I was like, yo, look, it's actually okay to be selfish with your growth in the beginning. It's okay to be selfish until you can become selfless. Because remember, in the beginning, you have to focus on you. You have to focus on your growth. You have to focus on your development. You have to focus on developing that spirituality inside of you and cleaning out any negativity that you have inside of you, right? And remember, in the beginning, it's okay to be selfish on your personal growth. It's okay to be selfish until you could be selfless. Because the only way you can help others is if you help yourself. The only way you can lead others is if you lead yourself. And that's why today's topic is so key. And one of the reasons why you need to start leading yourself is because you want to live an intentional life. Okay. Stop accepting your life, lead your life. All right. Start to lead your life every day. Too many of us and too many people are just accepting their life. They're accepting that average life. They're accepting 60,000 a year, 70,000 a year. They're accepting an average apartment, an average car, an average lifestyle. Now, if that's what you want, okay. But if you know you were meant for more, if you know that you were meant for bigger things, okay, don't accept it because you know you're capable of more. Okay, I always say it at the beginning of my podcast, guys. Most people live their whole entire lives only accomplishing 10% of their potential. What about the other 90%? None of us truly know what we're truly capable of. Each and every single one of us listening to this podcast right now, you think you know what you're capable of, but you truly don't even know what you're capable of because you probably haven't even unlocked 20 to 30% of your potential. I still haven't even I still believe I still haven't even unlocked 50% of my potential. I'm still growing so much. I've been in this journey now for 3 years and I know there's so much growth for me now. Basically, I say that the last few years have been more of a rewiring process, right? Rewiring that old program that I had before I started getting into the entrepreneurship journey. Now is that I'm developing that new program. Now is that I'm wiring this process for me to become the most successful individuals and I'm unlocking that potential and I'm seeing what I'm more capable of. But I know that I'm still capable of so much more. So what I want you to understand is that we have to live intentional. There has to be an intention behind everything that we do. Okay, what is your purpose in your growth? What is your purpose in the books that you read? What is your purpose behind every meditation session? Okay, there has to be a purpose. Okay, there has to be something created from each and every action that you take because the problem is that most people they live unintentional, but when you live unintentional, that doesn't create. It actually destroys because you're just doing things because other people said to do it. Okay, but when you live intentional, every action you take creates. And that's what we want to do. We want to be creators. Okay, remember, we are God's highest form of creation. Okay, so we have God-like abilities. And one of the beautiful things that God had was his ability to create. And that's what we're doing. We are creating our reality every single day. We wake up, you create your reality. And if you're not happy with your reality, understand that you created it. It wasn't your mom that created your reality. It wasn't your dad. It wasn't any of your family member or your friends or your teachers or your coaches. You create your reality because you become what you think about most. You attract what's the most common thought in your mind. So whatever it is that you're thinking about most is what's going to be created. The reason why I'm seeing the success that I'm seeing right now, the reason why I'm one of the top leaders in New York City, and I have a team of 1,000+ people worldwide in over 16 different countries, and my podcast is ranked in the United States as one of the top ones, and I have my own baseball academy in the Dominican Republic. The reason why this is all happening is because I created it first in my mind. Remember, what you see in your mind, you can hold in your hands, but you have to see it consistently. But what if I was just seeing the complete opposite? What if I was seeing myself with lack of money, lack of success, not believing in myself? Then that's what would have been created. Okay. But because I focused on my success, my growth, the places I wanted to go with, and that's what I created. And I don't say any of this stuff to impress any of you. Okay. I say it to press upon you that a lot can change when you change your way of thinking. Okay. Stop allowing other individuals to have more control over your life than you do. Stop allowing the outside circumstances to affect your internal peace. One of the biggest breakthroughs I had was when I stopped caring about what other people had to say about me. Because you see, when you embark on a journey to personal growth, remember, a lot of people don't want to grow because they rather you stay where they are, right? Remember, misery loves company. So if you go out and you decide that you're going to grow and you're going to take risk, guess what? Then they're going to be like, man, I'm going to have to do that too. And they don't want to do that because they like to be comfortable. Remember, comfort zone is your broke zone. Nothing grows in your comfort zone. Absolutely nothing grows there. So what we must focus on is getting uncomfortable so that way we could tap into the field of infinite possibilities and truly find out what we're truly capable of. So don't let other people, okay, have control over your life. Don't worry about what people have to say about you. Let them make fun of you. Let them talk down on your business and entrepreneurship. Let them tell you that it's not going to work and that you're wasting your time and that you're going to go get a job. Let them tell you those things. And guess what? It's going to come from the people you love most. Let me give you the heads up. It's going to come from the people that you love most. Your friends, your family, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. It's going to come from them. So be aware. But understand that all you have to do is learn to accept or reject. That's all you have to do. Are you going to accept what they said? Because if you accept it, it becomes yours. Okay. Only accept positive affirmations. Only accept positive, okay, into your life. Don't accept negative. All right. Only accept the positive and reject the negative. If it's not going to help you grow, reject it. Let it come. Don't let it become a part of you. Okay. And this is why it's so key, because awareness is everything. You see, if you are aware of what's going on around you, you can learn what to accept or reject. Okay. But understand this, there's really no perfect moment to start. There's no perfect moment to start. You just have to go out there and lead yourself. Don't let no outside circumstances affect your peace. Whatever is going on right now in our world, the coronavirus, the riots, everything that's going on right now, we cannot let those outside circumstances affect our internal peace, because our outside circumstances are created by our internal. So if your internal is not in place, if your internal doesn't have the clarity, if your internal is clogged, it's not going to create a good outside circumstance for you. So that's why we must always protect ourselves at all causes, right? Don't just accept your life and wait for the right. All right, here we go. Let me set this up. We are ready to go, familia. Let's see this right here. All right. Dope. There we are. There we are. There we are. Grand Rising Familia. Happy Thursday. I hope everybody is having a beautiful, beautiful start to their days. If you guys are feeling good this morning, put a 111 in the chat box if you guys are feeling good. Man, the curls are all over the place this morning, but that's how we like them. We like them all over the place. I pray that you guys are all having a beautiful start to your days. I hope that everybody is doing their morning routines. I pray that everybody's, vibrating high, facing your challenges, looking at them in the face and letting them know that you're better than your challenges. I pray that everybody's healthy, everybody's going to the gym, everybody's eating the right foods, everybody's just doing what they are supposed to be doing. And I'm just so, so grateful to be on this call with all of you. Thank you for everybody who jumps on Instagram. Thank you for everybody who hops on YouTube. Thank you, the whole family. I love doing these calls, and it's always a pleasure. I look forward to these calls each and every single day. As you guys know, I do mornings with Nano Monday through Friday. I do them privately 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then I do them publicly free for everybody on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so that way, we're able to give more value and give more people more to learn, more to understand. But I'm extremely blessed. I'm extremely grateful to be on this call with all of you guys. I hope all of you guys are feeling good. Real quick, if you did your morning routine this morning, let me see where we at. If you did your morning routine, put a 2 in the chat box. Let me know. Nano, me too. I did my morning routine this morning. Did you do your routine this morning? Did you make it a priority, to focus on you? Did you read this morning? Did you write your goals down this morning? Did you go to the gym this morning? Did you meditate? Did you visualize your goals, right? Did you make yourself a priority this morning, right? I got a chance to finish up my full morning routine. I did my visualization. I did my reading. I practiced my gratitude. I did my scripting. I did it all this morning. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blessed. Right after this, I'm going to be headed to the gym, get a nice little sauna session in, and I'm ready to attack my day. So, I'm very, very excited and blessed to be here this morning. And I pray that all of you guys are also feeling good and blessed as well. So let's get started with today's call. I know that, I've had some people ask me, what do you mean you're going to regret it, right? That is the title for today's call, is you're going to regret it. And this topic comes from this book that I read. I think it was about 2 years ago. I read this book, and it was called The Leader with No Title. And in this book, I'm not gonna go deep into the whole concept of the story and everything, but in this book, this individual finds a mentor, and this mentor invites him to a cemetery. Listen to this. This is a crazy story. So he tells him, yo, meet me at the cemetery at 5 a.m. this morning. And I want to do my best to remember the story as best as I can. But I remember this part of the story so powerfully because of what it taught me. And in the story, the mentor tells the student, hey, I want to teach you a valuable lesson. Okay, I need you to meet me at the cemetery at 5 a.m. So the student, following what his mentor says, he says, okay, I'll come to the cemetery, right? So he shows up at 5 a.m. and the his car is already there. So he's already been there. So he told him to be there at 5 a.m. He was already there waiting for him. So he shows up and he walks over. He sees him by a cemetery over there. He walks over and there's 2 dug up graves already. Okay, there's 2 of them. And he stands right in the middle of them. So imagine, right, you show up to the cemetery. Let's say I'm the guy, I'm the mentor, and I'm standing in the middle of 2 graves, and they're already dug up 6 feet deep, both of them. And he's there to teach them, he's there to teach him a very valuable lesson. On the left-hand side of, the grave, at the bottom, there's a piece of paper on both ends, right? Okay, on one of the graves are the 10 human regrets. Okay, and on the right hand grave are the 10 human victories. Okay, now when you read this book, it's a lot better, obviously, because you get to read the story. You're kind of involved in it, and it's a great book to read. It's actually short and very powerful, and it's in story format, so it's actually a very fun book to read. But he tells him to go into the human regret one first, right? Because at this time, the student, he's not buying into the idea of becoming that best version of himself. He's filled with limiting beliefs. He's filled with doubts. He's filled with fears. He's filled with a lot of, fearful actions that is not allowing him to grow into the person that he wants to be. And I remember when I first read that book, I was kind of like in the same position of the student. I was doubting myself a little bit. I was fearful of taking specific actions. I was playing, the short game. I wasn't really tapped into becoming that best version of myself, right? It was like almost like I was dibbling and dabbling with it. I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out, wasn't all the way in. So I remember reading that, which were the 10 human regrets. And he goes into the grave. He makes him go into the grave. And at the bottom, he has the piece of paper that has the 10 human regrets. Okay. And he starts to read them out loud. And each one is so powerful. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to go through all 10 today, but if we can, I will. All right. But what I want to do is I want to show you guys the 10 human regrets, but then also on the next call, I want to be able to teach you guys the 10 human victories. Okay. Now, this comes from the book, The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma. It is a phenomenal book. I highly recommend you guys to read it. Okay. But like I said, I always give you guys all these great book recommendations. Just add it to, the list of books that you have to read this year at some point so that you can have it there. But if you guys are ready for these human regrets, put a 10 in the chat box if you guys are ready for this, because I'm going to show you guys the 10 human regrets that most people have when they reach basically their what do I want to call this? Not their death, but when they reach the grave, right? Right before they pass, right? These are the 10 human regrets that most people go through in life. These are the ones that they feel, these are the ones that they think of. These are the ones that really, really touch them on a deeper level. Now, there's a statement that he says right before every single human regret, right? And this is what it is, right? He says, you reach your last day. Okay. So what I want you to do is at the top of your paper, I want you to write down obviously the 10 human regrets. Okay. But then under that, I want you to write down, you reach your last day, dot, dot, dot. Because every single one of them starts with that statement. You reach your last day. So if you're taking notes, okay, this is what I would recommend. Write the title at the top, the 10 human regrets. Okay. And then right under that, write, you reach your last days, dot, dot, dot. Because now I'm going to go over the 10 human regrets, and then they're all going to start with the same little statement, which is you reach your last day. So let's talk about the first human regret. Let's go right into it, right? Because this is deep. This is one of those trainings that you do have to take notes, though. So I'm going to give you a heads up. This is a training that you do want to take notes. Now, if for whatever reason you can't take notes because you're driving, you're at work, you're just listening, you're at the gym, then I do highly recommend that you rewatch this later and you take notes. You can just listen now, but I highly recommend you to take notes on this, okay? So just as a heads up, all right? So first day, all right? First human regret. You reach your last day with the brilliant song that your life was meant to sing still silent within you. Okay. I'm going to copy and paste it for you right here into the chat so you guys can see it as well. You reach your last days with the brilliant song that your life was meant to sing still silent within you. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Listen to that real quick. Now, think about how powerful that actually is. Listen to this. You reach your last day with the brilliant song that your life was meant to sing still silent within you. That's powerful right there. I remember reading that for the first time, and I remember having to stop real quick and understand what it meant. Like I wanted to be able to digest the full message, right, of how deep this ever was, right? And when you think about it, right, you reach your last day with the brilliant song that your life was meant to sing still silent within you. What was he referring to? He was referring to your purpose. You see, all of us in our lives, we have a purpose in our lives. We have gifts that were given to us by God. And if we don't use those gifts, if we don't fulfill our purpose, then we reach our last days with those things silent within us. Nobody will ever know what gifts we actually had. No one will ever know who we were or what we did because we never fulfilled our purpose. You see, we all have greatness within each and every single one of us. But if we are not tapping into that purpose, we will never actually know what we can actually do. I'm going to use myself as an example, okay? Had I not tapped into my gifts and my purpose, I would have never been able to start Mornings with Nano. I want you guys to actually realize this. Think about this, all right? Had I never tapped into my gifts, I didn't know that speaking was going to be a gift of mine. Communication was going to be a gift, all right? I never knew that. But you know how I found out that it was my gift? Because I started to work on myself. I started to read books. I started to listen to audios. I started to invest into mentorship. Because in the beginning, it's not like you get off a call and right away you know what your purpose is. No, you have to find that. You have to realize what yours is. You have to go searching for it, right? How does the saying go? If you search, you will what? Finish it for me in the chat as I drink some water here. If you search, you will find. Some of us have not found our purpose yet. Some of us have not found what our gifts are yet. So if you live your whole life, okay, just living your day by day, and just going through the motions, then you will reach your last day with that brilliant song that your life was meant to sing, still silent within you. Because look, like I said, I'm gonna use myself as an example. It took me to commit to becoming a better version of myself because remember, your awareness and your consciousness has to grow. Okay. Your awareness and consciousness, it has to grow. You have to become aware of what you're capable of. When I started my personal development journey, I didn't know what Nano could do, but I had to start. I had to start with the morning routine. I had to start meditating. I had to start visualizing. I had to start reading the books, right? I had to start, writing my goals down, journaling, healing from certain things. And as I grew in consciousness and awareness, okay, if I would have, because I kept growing in consciousness and awareness, I started to realize, wait, Nano, you're supposed to be doing this. Yo, Nano, you have a gift for speaking. You should start doing it more, right? If it wasn't for one of my leaders telling me, hey, Nano, can you help us, wake up and give us a motivational message every single morning back in 2019, when he told me, hey, it would be dope if you woke up every morning and helped us get our day started. That's when Mornings Mastermind started. They weren't even called Mornings with Nano. They were called Morning Masterminds in the beginning. And it only started with 20, 30 people. So had I never started to grow in my awareness, look at how it all happened. I remember it like it was yesterday. 2019, I started my personal development journey intentionally. I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of being broke. I'm sick and tired of living a life that is not filled with purpose, that is not filled with the things that I want. I wanted to change. And I had that moment in my life where I made a decision that enough was enough. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I started working on myself in March. I started that routine. I said, yo, every day from this point moving forward, I'm going to start waking up at this time. And from this time to this time, I'm going to just work on myself. So I had did that for 3 months straight. I had worked on it. I had went on a 90-day run during the spring of 2019. Listen to how life works, right? So for those 90 days, every day I was reading, every day I was writing my goals down, every day I was meditating, every day. So as I'm growing in consciousness and awareness and everything, then what ends up happening? Boom. June 2019 comes around. 3 months later, I jump on a call with a bunch of my leaders and they tell me, hey, you should wake up in the morning and start morning masterminds. Me taking action right away, I said, perfect, we start tomorrow. I started tomorrow. The next thing you know is June 20th comes around, which was the first day of Mornings with Neno. And now I'm starting morning masterminds. Now, through these morning masterminds that end up turning into Mornings with Neno, I started to realize that I have a gift in what? Communicating with people, the things that I learned, communicating with people, the journey that I was on. And next thing you know, these morning masterminds turn into Mornings with Nano. They turn into 20, 30 people calls into 500, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000. During COVID, there were 5,000 people on the calls every single day. Like if we had 3,000 people on the call, that was a bad call. That was, we were slow that day if we had 3,000 people on the call. And the next thing you know, guess what? They all blew up. Now think about this, guys. Think about this. Not to brag, not to impress anybody, but look, I'm a world-renowned speaker now in English and Spanish. Okay. I'm a podcast host of a top 100 podcast in the US and in Europe. Okay. I'm a mindset educator for a billion-dollar company. Okay. And everything else that I've been able to accomplish. Now, I've even had Bob Proctor jump on my calls. Now, think about this. It's not to brag, but it's to impress upon you that had I never stepped into my personal growth, had I never started to search, I would have never found. As a matter of fact, had I never stepped into that, we wouldn't even be on this call today. We wouldn't even be here on this call today. Think about that. I just want you guys to think about how deep that goes, right? So one of the human regrets that most people have is, like he said, number one, you reach your last day with the brilliant song that your life was meant to sing, still silent within you. I found my purpose in waking up every single day and pouring into other people, helping other people realize their full potential, helping other people develop leadership skills, helping other people grow closer to God. I found my purpose in that. I found my purpose in becoming the best version of myself so that I can grow to the closest thing that I can ever come to. So I can develop the gifts that God gave me. I found my purpose in that. I love what I do. Think about it, guys. You got to love what you do in order for you to do it every single day. I love this every single day. I love waking up and jumping on these calls. I did them for free. Before I got paid for any of this, guys, I want you all to know, I did this for free for 3.5 years, almost 4 years. Never charged a dollar. I did it 5 days a week for free. But like they say, right? The person who does more than what he is paid for eventually will be paid for more than what he does. So at some point after doing it for free for so many years, somebody said, hey, look, you've been doing it for free. You learned to work without getting paid. You did it for free for 3.5 years, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Here you go. We want to partner you up. We want to give you this amount of money. Take this. I want you to train our team, our company. Neno, you know what? You've proven yourself. Every time you go into one of these countries, every time we invite you, we're going to pay you this amount. Right? But I did it for free for 3.5 years. Nobody saw that. Some of you guys did, but people saw me do the call every single day I woke up and did it for free. Never asked anybody for nothing. And then I started to get paid for it. And a lot of people sometimes are always complaining like, yo, Nano, I'm not getting paid enough money. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Sometimes that's the name of the game. I always teach people that you got to learn to work without getting paid so that later you can get paid without work. Think about that. You got to learn to work without getting paid so that you can get paid without work in the future. I worked without getting paid for years. And now I get paid without work. Nano, what do you mean by that? I mean, you're still working, but it's not work anymore. I love what I do. Think about it. I get paid now to teach the same things that I was teaching for free 3 years ago. Think about how crazy that is. The things I was teaching for free 3 years ago, I get paid for that. I get paid now for that, to teach them now. That's the beauty of it. So all of us, we have that brilliant song within inside of us. Okay? Josh, my guy. We all have that brilliant song inside of us. Don't let that die. Don't let your life go with that song still silent within you. Go out there and figure out who you are. Everybody's going to be different. I'm not saying that you guys got to become a podcast host and a world-renowned speaker. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you got to be Nano. Nano's Nano. You be you, Crystal. You be you, Linda, Grace, Natasha, right? You be you, Ashley. All of you that are on this call right now, Kevin, Ricardo, J. Miles, find your purpose. Find your gifts and use them. Don't let that song that your life was meant to sing stay silent within you. That was number one. That's the number one regret. I'm happy that I'm not going to have that regret because my song is singing loud every single day. Okay? My song is singing loud every single day because I am living in my purpose and I'm going out there and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Okay? I challenge you to do the exact same thing. Okay? Number two. Okay? You reach your last day realizing that you never inspired anyone by the example you set. Sheesh. These are powerful, so get ready. You reach your last day realizing that you never inspired anyone else by the example you set. Man, that one's a little harsh, but it's the reality of the situation. I put it in the chat for those taking notes. You reach your last day realizing that you never inspired anyone else by the example you set. Guys, what example are you setting? That's the real question. Are you being an example? Would you follow you? I want you to ask yourself that question right here on this call. Would you follow you? Be real. Would you follow you? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Because if you wouldn't follow you, then you need to change. I would follow me. For sure I would. I feel good, but a couple of years ago, I wouldn't follow me. Tony, I respect your honesty, bro, because I was there before. And you know what, Tony? I'll tell you what. And Cheryl, I see you there as well. You know what? It was me having that realization and realizing that I wouldn't follow myself that caused me to change. Because the old me, I wouldn't follow the old me. The old me was lazy. He lacked discipline. He lacked belief. He wasn't a person of his word. All right. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing. He would rather go out and drink and smoke with his friends than stay in and read books and listen to audios. He'd rather be chilling on the block doing nothing with his life than actually building his business. The old me was lost. The old me didn't know what he wanted. The old me was sleeping till lunchtime. The old me was more focused on waking and baking. But then guess what? We have to change. I wasn't inspiring anybody by that. Right? I wasn't inspiring anybody by waking up at lunchtime, not being a man of my word, not working on myself. I had no job, living with my parents at the age of 24 years old, 25 years old. I was there. I know I was there, but you know what? You got to set the right example now. And the way you start setting the right example is by working on you. When I started working on myself, people thought, Neno, what are you doing nowadays? Like, what do you mean you're reading books now? What do you mean that, buy journals and meditation and all these things, right? People didn't understand. And because people didn't understand, I couldn't allow that to stop me from what I was doing. I had to be the example. Because remember, I come from Washington Heights, New York City. Where I grew up, my neighborhood, you can consider it the hood, right? And where I'm from, people don't do the things that I do. So when I first started, waking up at 5 a.m. to walk to a park and sit under a tree and read and meditate and do all these things, like, remember me, my mentor once told me this. This is what he told me. He had this conversation with me. He was like, look, man, the average person wakes up at 8 a.m. This is the conversation he had with me. He said, the average person wakes up at 8 a.m. He said, do you want to be average or you want to be extraordinary? I said, I want to be extraordinary. He's like, okay, extraordinary people wake up around 5, 6 a.m. He said at 8 a.m., once you wake up, the energy is already clouded. Everybody's up. Everybody's on their way to work. The energy in the earth is already clouded. If you really want to change your situation and you want to have clean energy to focus on and quiet energy that'll really elevate you, wake up at 5, 6 a.m. Leave your house. Don't stay in bed. Leave your house. Go to the nearest park near you and go sit in nature and focus for 2 hours a day. For 2 hours a day, focus. And I need you to do this, and that. He said, I need you to meditate on your goals. He said, I need you to read for 30 minutes. I need you to listen to an audio. I need you to write your goals down. I need you to journal how you feel. I need you to do for a 2-hour span every single day, Monday through Sunday, no excuses. No one's going to come with you. No one's going to wake up with you at that time. Just do it every day until you start to see the changes. And guess what started to happen? I started to see the changes. I started to see my awareness grow. But I did it every day. Now, look, me doing that, look at how many people I've inspired with the example that I've set. Not because of the money I've made, okay? Not because of where I live, not because of the car, not because of any of those things, right? I've inspired other people because of my example of, hey, look, you can change your life. You can be somebody that starts at the bottom and work your way up. You could be from Washington Heights. You can be from the hood. You can come from a Hispanic background. You can come from any background and change your life and be a worldwide superstar. Right? Like, this is what it takes. But guess what? I had to go out and be the right example first. A lot of us, you got to go be the example for your family. You got to be the example for your kids. You got to be the example for the people that are following you. I have a lot of people that follow me. I have friends, I got family members, I have goddaughters, godsons, I got leaders, I have all amazing people. So I always got to make sure that I do the right things, that I am setting the right example. This is the reality of the situation. The question is, would you follow you? I would follow this Neno because this Neno's happy. This Neno's at peace. This Neno's living in his purpose. This Neno is vulnerable. He accepts his challenges and his mistakes and looks to change them, right? This is what it's all about right here. I would follow this Neno, but I wouldn't follow the old Neno because the old Neno wasn't disciplined. If you won't follow you right now, you need to change. And guess what? This could be that summer for you. Summers for me were personal because usually a summer in New York, anybody that's from New York, you guys know summers in New York are when I grew up. Nowadays, New York, summers are kind of whack, to be honest. But back then, summers in New York were lit. They were we couldn't wait for summers in New York. Barbecues every single day, parties, late nights, 3, 4 a.m., water parks. You have no idea. It was so, so lit. Because remember, in New York, this is what people don't understand. In New York, people live in apartments. So we don't have backyards, right? We don't have backyards. So our backyard, our way of, communicating with everybody is the streets. So the streets, the block becomes our backyard. So everybody in New York is on the streets all day. They're literally having barbecues, music playing, cooking, everything, dominoes, dice games, pumps are open, the fire hydrant is open, kids are getting wet. Like, the streets is our backyard. So in New York, it's hard to focus when every day you go outside is a party, Monday through Sunday in New York, literally. For my people who are in New York, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So for me, I had to take it personal during the summers because it was like, yo, I could easily get distracted because there was so much going on. So I had to make sure that I was up earlier than everybody. Bro, there were times that I would wake up at 5 a.m. to walk to the park, and there were still people outside in the streets drinking, chilling, playing music. And I'm like, this is crazy. I'm on my way to do my morning routine. These people about to go to sleep after being up all night drinking and smoking and chilling, right? But I had to make sure that the summers were personal to me because it was easy for me to fall back into that life. It was easy for you to fall back. And I'm not saying that I didn't hang out with them and I completely separated myself, but I made it a priority to make sure that every morning I worked on me. Before I had the fun, before we did the barbecues, before we went to the parties, before we did everything, I had to make sure every morning, 6 a.m., I was in the park working on myself, doing my reading, building my business, doing what was required. Being the example. That was number 2. All right. Number 3, put a 3 in the chat box if you're with me and you're still taking notes. We're probably going to only be able to do 5, to be real. We'll probably just do 5 human regrets, and we could do the other 5 another day. Okay. Number 3, this one's powerful. Listen to this one. Number 3 is you reach your last day full of pain at the realization that you never took any bold risk, so you never received any bright rewards. Damn. Let me put this in the chat for y'all one time. Number 3, you reach your last day full of pain at the realization that you never took any bold risk, and so you never received any bright rewards. That one's good. Because let me tell you guys, I've taken a lot of risk. As a matter of fact, I'm still paying for the risk that I've taken in the past that didn't work out, if I'm being 100% real with you guys real quick. I've taken a lot of risks to get here. Risks that most people wouldn't take, to be honest. I've taken a lot of risk. I've invested a lot of money into myself because I believe in myself. You got to be the person that take risks, guys. Remember, we don't get another life. This is not a video game. We only get one. You got to take the risk. You got to make that investment. You got to go to that event. You got to fly to that country. You got to do these things, guys. You got to be willing to invest, and you got to be willing to take those crazy risks that even though it may seem scary, you got to do it. Because at the end of the day, like Emmy said in the chat box, everything is risky. Every day you get in the car is a risk. Every day you go to work is a risk. Every day you get on a train, every day you're outside is a risk. Everything is risky. Now, if you have kids and a family, it's completely different, right? Because it's no longer about you anymore. It's about your kids. So You definitely have to be more calculated when you have kids. So I will say that, right? Obviously I've been around, a lot of people that have kids, and they told me like, Nano, I wish I was in your position. Okay, because the risks that you take, I can't take those risks, Nano, because I have kids that are counting on me. I have a roof that I got to keep over their heads. So it's a little bit different, all right, to take risk. All right. Am I still going to take risk? Yes, but they have to be more calculated than yours. Okay, because you see, I can take a risk, and worst case scenario, it doesn't work out. I just go back to my parents' house and I start again. So for my leaders that are on this call, for my people that are on this call, yo, if you're still living at your parents' house and you don't got to pay bills, yo, listen to me. Take all the risk in the world. For my kids, for my youngins that still live with their parents, and you still live with your parents and you don't have no bills, your parents still pay your phone bills or all of those things. Yo, listen to me. Go out there and take all the risk. Because look, all the parents on this call, they will tell you, yo, I wish I could go back to that. Yo, am I right or am I wrong? For my parents, my mom and my dad's out there. Yo, wouldn't it be nice if you could just still live at your parents' house, no bills, right? Wouldn't it be nice? It would be amazing. Yo, take the risk, especially if you live at your parents' house, especially if you don't really got to pay that much bills. Yo, listen to me, guys. Yo, I literally used to live by that. I used to be like, look, I used to take all the risk in the world because when I started, remember, my story is different than everybody else's. I was 24, 25 years old, living at my parents' house. I don't know. This is why I go so hard for my parents, because the way my parents supported me in this journey, I don't know how I could pay them back. I don't know if I'll ever be able to pay them back for the way that they supported me. But yo, I took all the risks because for me, it was like, yo, the worst thing that can happen is I end up back at my parents' house, which is my foundation, which is my support level. So if I needed to take a trip, I would have taken the trip. I used to take all the trips. If there was an investment, I would make the investment. If there was something I had to do, I would do it. Like, yo, hey, this business, let's do it. This investment, let's do it. We got to fly to this country. We got to fly here. Boom, boom, boom. I did it all. I did it all because I knew that my risk to reward was a lot better than somebody that, like, I would put all the money in my bank account and my savings into a trip or into an investment or into a business, because what was the worst that can happen? I lose the money. That's okay. I'll start back at zero. I'm back with my parents. No worries, right? But you see, somebody that's a parent, right? I'll use my sis Emmy as an example, right? Emmy's on this call, right? She's one of my leaders. We work hard. We've been working together now for a couple of years. Emmy has kids. Okay. So Emmy can go and invest her last dollars into something because God forbid it doesn't work out in her favor and she loses everything. Now she don't have money to feed the kids. So she can't take those kind of risks. I could take those risks because if I lose everything, I'm back at the parents' crib. But she has kids to take care of. So it's a little bit different. So if you can take risks, take them. Don't be scared to take risks. The best things in life are on the other side of fear. The best things in life are on the other side of fear. But for my parents, I will tell you guys this. All right. Even though you have kids, even though you still have, things that you got to take care of, don't let the fear of taking risk get the best of you. Just take more calculated risk. Take risks that you know you can manage, but don't be the person that doesn't take any risk at all. Okay, that's very important. Just because you have priorities and just because you have kids, I can't relate that much because I don't have any kids, right? But from my people that are around me, that a lot of my friends and a lot of my family members, they all have kids. They always tell me, yo, even though I have these kids, I still got to go out there and still take risks, because if not, I'll live my whole life like this. And if you want to provide a better life for your kids, you're going to have to take some calculated risk. All right. So it's very, very, very important that you guys understand this. That's what he's saying. Yo, you'll reach your last days full of pain at the realization that you never took any bold risk, right? If we look up the definition of bold, let me see what bold means. Definition, really quick. Bold definition: showing an ability to take risk confidently and courageously. That's what bold is. Bold is showing an ability to take risk confidently and courageously. Yo, at the realization that you never took any bold risk. So you never received what? Any bright rewards. I'm rewarded today and I have bright rewards in my life today because of the bold risk that I took. I took some bold risk. If you don't have bright rewards in your life, it's because you're not taking bold risk. Take them, guys. At the end of the day, everything has a solution to it. You'll get a solution to the problem that you face in life. But you got to take bold risk. Okay? Bold risk. This is very, very important. Put a 3 in the chat box if you're going to start taking some bold risk this summer, rest of 2024, right? We got to start taking some. What if the biggest breakthrough in your life is on the other side of that risk that you've been scared to take? Make that investment. Go to that country. Invest into that mentorship. Start that business. Reach out to that person. Start taking some bold risk so that you can receive bright rewards. All right, that's number 3. We're going to do 2 more. Because if I do all 10, we'll be here literally till tomorrow. I love that, Sarah. Facts. The magic you are looking for is in the job you are avoiding. That's the facts. The magic you're looking for is in the job and the work you are avoiding. Very, very key. That's number 3, right? Let's go to number 4 real quick. This one's going to be good. You reach your last day understanding that you missed the opportunity to catch a glimpse of mastery because you bought into the lie that you had been reassigned to mediocrity. You reach your last day. I'll put it in the chat for you guys right here. You reached your last day understanding that you missed the opportunity to catch a glimpse of mastery, but because you bought into the lie that you had to be resigned to mediocrity. Don't ever settle for mediocrity, family. That's what the world wants us to settle for. Don't settle for that. Don't settle for 50K a month. I mean, 50K a month is good income, but don't settle for 50K a year. Don't settle for that money. Don't settle for just a regular job that you don't like to do. Don't settle for that. If you got to do it for now because it's what you got to do, because you got to provide for the family, do it. But don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for the house that you live in or the apartment you live in. Don't settle for the car that you drive. Don't settle for still not being able to travel to different countries. Don't settle for that. Don't settle for that. Go for everything that you want in your life. Go buy that house. Go drive that car. Go focus on the mastery of self. This is why I'm so big on it. This is why I dedicated my life to this. I focus on mastery. You know what? I remember if you go to my earlier journals, my goal in life, I remember I used to write it down every day. I used to be like, yo, I am so happy and grateful now that I am self-mastery in all areas of my life. That was my goal at first. That was the goal. I didn't set money goals in the beginning. I didn't set rank goals. I didn't set these kind of goals. My goal in the beginning was self-mastery, mastery of self. How can I master nano? How can I master my emotional intelligence? How can I master my mindset? How can I master my physical abilities? How can I master all of these different things, right? My goal was self-mastery. All right. I didn't want to settle for mediocrity. I didn't want to just settle for what society was giving me, because I understood that 95% of people never lived the life that they truly want. I want you guys to think about that. Think about those numbers. That means that if there was 100 people on this call, 95% of us will not live the life that we truly wanted, and only 5% of us will. Those numbers are kind of messed up when you think about it. You mean to tell me that out of 100 of us, only 5%, only 5 of us are actually going to live the life of our dreams? That's absolutely wild. Because the other 95%, guess what? They settle for mediocrity. They settle for the average life. And look, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. That's okay. If you want to live an average life, that's cool. Like, obviously no one is going to be forced to go and live a life of extraordinary abundance. But in reality, we are all meant to live a life of extraordinary abundance because we were created in God's image. God doesn't want us to live a life of mediocrity. God doesn't want us to live an average life. He doesn't. So why would we settle for something that is not part of our purpose? Our purpose is to grow, to become the best version of ourselves. Our purpose is to realize our gifts. Our purpose is to really realize what we are truly capable of. So why would we ever settle for mediocrity? How does that ever make sense? Don't settle. Like, look, if you gotta do what you gotta do right now, that's fine. And I only say that to you guys because remember, I'm a mentor to thousands of people. And I've mentored people that have came to me and have told me, Nano, look, man, this is my situation right now. I work this job, but this is not what I want to do. I want to be able to travel the world. I want to be able to make hundreds and millions of dollars. I want to be able to speak to people. I want to inspire people. I want to help people. I want to build schools in third world countries. I want to be able to do all these amazing things. But right now I got this job. Can you help me figure this out? And I've seen people who were at the bottom. I've helped people who were working jobs, okay, that now are full-time entrepreneurs, making hundreds and thousands of dollars, traveling the world, being able to help other people, okay? As a matter of fact, one of them is right next to me, my brother KD. I'll give you guys an example. When I met KD, KD had just finished from basically graduating from school. He had a failed business. Okay, he had a clothing brand that had just failed, right? He was trying to pursue the idea of becoming a cop. He went to school, this whole idea. And guess what? He met me and I put him under my wing and I taught him all my tricks, all my strategies. Yo, this is what you need to focus on. I didn't teach him how to trade. I didn't teach him how to invest. I didn't teach him how to all of that. You know what I taught him? His morning routine. I said, bro, this is what you need to do every day. Focus on mastery. Focus on you. Everything else will come. The trading will come. The crypto will come. The skills will come. Bam, 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 bam. He listened. He listened. And still to this day, he still listens. Guess what? He went from being somebody that had failed businesses to now having businesses all around the world. He went from being somebody that had only traveled to 1 or 2 countries to now traveling to over 20 plus countries. He went from being somebody that lacked confidence in his ability to speak. He just goes now and he travels the world speaking on stage in front of hundreds of people. He's learned the skill sets. He's learned the abilities. He's learned the strategies, right? Why? Because he found his gift. He didn't settle for the mediocrity that his family and his life was telling him to do. They told him, yo, go be this, go be a teacher, go be a cop, go do these. Not that any of those things are wrong or bad, but he was meant for more. And it's obvious now. It's obvious now he was meant for a lot more than just the regular job or the regular this or that, right? Even though he was going through a lot of failures at the time and failed businesses and all of this, now today he's a world-renowned speaker in English and in Spanish too, right? He has his own podcast as well. He has his own clothing brand. He is a successful trader, investor, all of these things. But all of those things came from mastery. They came from mastery because he didn't settle for mediocrity. He focused on him. I never taught him any of those other skills. He learned how to speak by mastery. He learned how to trade, how to invest, how to build successful businesses. He learned all of that through focusing on him. Like I told him, I'm like, bro, the key to this is you. Forget about everything else. You. Just do this morning routine every single day right here. And still to this day, we just came back from doing our routine. Right? I'll use him as an example because he came to me broken. He came to me when he had nothing. He came to me when he had a failed business, when he was trying to figure out what his next step in life, literally lost in life. And today he found himself. Today he found his gifts. Today he's living in his purpose. So if you're on this call, I want you to know that that can happen for you as well. That's one of the many examples. I'm only using him as an example because he's sitting down right here next to me, still taking notes on a training that he's probably heard me do 5 times. Because he understands the importance of being a student. You see how it works? This is how life works, guys. If you focus on mastery, I'm not talking about anything else. You got to focus on mastery of you. You will realize how powerful you are. You will not settle. You will never settle once you realize how powerful you are. You will never settle. I promise you, you would be like, man, now I know what Nino was talking about. Now I get it. I understand what he means. I can't settle because I'm worth so much more. Right? Put a 2 in the chat box if you believe that you're worth more, that you're capable of more, that you know you could be doing more. Right? That you know you could be living in a better place. You know you could be driving a better car. You know you could be making more money. You know you could be providing a better life for your kids. You know you could be putting them in better schools, right? You know you could be doing more, right? Even me, man, I'll put some 2s in the chat box. You guys are not alone. Even me. I know I could be doing more. So don't settle though. But don't settle. And guess what? It's never too late. It's never, ever, 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 ever too late. I have students of mine that are in their 40s, in their 50s, still working. They said, Nano, I wish I would have learned this when I was your age. I got my brother Jay Miles on this call, one of my big brothers, right? I remember when he told me all the time, man, I wish I could go back to your age and change this, this, and this, and that. But guess what, bro? I'm in my 40s right now, and I am committed to becoming the best version of myself, bro. Regardless of what my age is. It doesn't matter how old you are. It is never too late to start. Okay? The owner of KFC, he didn't start his journey until he was 60. Don't let your age stop you. Doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are. Age is nothing but a number. Get to work on you. Your life can change in 6 months, in 1 year. Your whole life can change. But if you don't change, if you don't commit to the mastery, that's the key, is the commitment to the mastery of thyself. You have to commit to that. You have to commit to something that every day you're going to work on yourself. You guys are going to hear me say this 1,000 more times throughout the year. It is about the focus on the mastery of you. Everything else will figure itself out. Everything else, you'll figure it out later. But the commitment has to be to yourself. All right. So that's number 4. All right. Last one, number 5. So we can wrap it up right here. This was one of my favorite ones. Write this down. Okay. You reach your last day and feel heartbroken that you never learned the skill of transforming adversity into victory, lead into gold. That's the one right there. I'm going to repeat it again. You reach your last day and you feel heartbroken that you never learned the skill of transforming adversity into victory, lead into gold. Guys, one of my most, I could honestly say, one of the reasons why I am as successful as I am today, outside of God's grace in my life. Okay, I give all the glory and thanks to God first, always. But if it wasn't for my ability to turn challenges into victories, I wouldn't be here today. I've learned so well how to take every challenge in my life and turn it into a victory. I'm very good at that. I am very, very good at that. I'm very good at turning lead into gold, transforming adversity into victory. One of my best skills that I have today. I'm telling you, you got to learn this, family. You know why? Because one thing that's for sure is that you're going to be challenged every day. Life is a test every day, bro. Every day we wake up is a test. And if you do not learn how to take your adversities and the challenges that life is going to present to you on a day-to-day basis, okay, if you don't learn how to turn those adversities into victories, then those adversities will get the best of you. You got to understand the laws of the universe as well, right? There's a law called the law of rhythm. Everything that goes up must come down. The wave goes in, the wave comes out. Okay? There's rhythm. You got to understand, you got to take advantage of the highs. And then when you go low, you got to learn from your lows, come back up, take advantage and from the highs, learn from the lows. You got to understand the laws of the universe. You got to understand how this universe works. Okay? This is how it really, really is. This is key information. Okay? And my mentor always told me, he said, Nano, how you handle the lows determine how high you go next. That was all I needed to hear. You know when somebody tells you something that just hits? He said, bro, let me ask you a question, because this is how, and I'll finish it off right here. My mentor, I was obviously complaining. And at the time I was at a low. But the thing was, that a couple months before that, I was at a high. So I was telling him, I'm like, bro, a couple months ago, bro, everything was good. I was making good money. Now today, like, yo, sucks, man. Like, my business is down. My income is down. This is happening. That is happening. And you know what he told me? He said, yo, how you handle the lows is going to determine how high you go next. You're going to go up again. And he asked me, he said, do you want to go up to where you were, or you want to go higher? I said, bro, I want to go higher. He says, so how you handle this low is going to determine if you go higher or not. He said, let me ask you a question. How are you handling this low right now? And I was like, I'm handling it pretty good. He's like, no, honestly, tell me, truth be told, bro. He said, how are you handling this low right now? And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not handling it that good. He said, so you think you deserve a higher high? I was like, no. He said, if anything, you don't even deserve a high because of how bad you're handling this low. He said, you need to change your perspective. He said, if you handle your lows terribly, you don't deserve a higher high. Because remember, it's a rhythm. It's a rhythm. So if you handle your lows badly, then next time you go up, you won't go up as much. He said, you know what ends up happening? This is what could happen to you, Nano. Because you handled the low so poorly, the next time you go up, you'll only go up a little bit, and then you'll be right back to the low. You want your highs to be exciting and filled with abundance and blessings and all of those things. You got to handle the lows the right way. Because if not, you know what happens? Most people, this is what he told me. He said, this is what happens to most entrepreneurs, right? Their law of rhythm, okay, their waves are not as big, right? Their law of rhythm is very low waves. So they'll go up a little bit and then they'll right back to the problems. They'll go up a little bit and then go up right back to their problems. Go up a little bit and then right back to the problems. Because they're handling the lows very badly. They're always complaining. They're always stressed. They're always overwhelmed. They don't do the work. They don't show up. They don't read the books. They don't do anything. And then they expect to go up. How are you going to go up if you're handling the lows bad? Right? You're at a low in your life and you're not putting no work into yourself. You're not going to the gym. You're not reading any books. You're not showing up to the events. You're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not participating in the chats. But you want a higher high in your life. It doesn't make any sense. When you're at the low, you got to take advantage of those lows. You got to look at the lows in your life as a season of opportunity. You got to look at the lows in your life as seasons of opportunity. When you're at your lows, that's when you should show up the most. When you're at your lows, that's when you should read the most. That's when you should meditate the most. That's when you should go to the gym the most. Those are the ones that matter. That's when it really matters. It don't matter when you're doing your when you're doing your routine and everything is making sense, when everything is good. Everything is good. Obviously is good. Obviously you're going to do your routine. Everything is good. But can you continue to do it when everything is going against you? That's when it matters. His voice is stuck in my head forever. He said, Nano, the only days that matter are the days that are hard. I hear that. I hear his voice in my head all the time. Nano, the only days that matter are when it's hard. That's it. The days when it's easy. You're motivated. You're happy. Everything is working in your favor. But did you show up when you were feeling down? Did you show up when you had a bad day at work? Did you show up when you were tired, when you were stressed, when your body was aching, when you went through a breakup, when this person said this, that? Did you show up then? That's what matters. It's not about showing up when everything is good. It's about showing up when everything is going against you. Those are the only days that really, really matter. And remember, it's not about showing up to your job, showing up to this. It's about showing up for yourself. Right? Let me ask you guys a question. Did any of you guys not feel like waking up this morning or not jumping on the call, and then you jumped on the call and you're grateful that you did? Right? Anybody on this call feel like that? Like, damn, you didn't know if you wanted to jump on Mornings with Nano, or you didn't know, and then you jumped on the call and now you're like, sheesh, man, thank God that I jumped on the call. Thank God I heard this message. Right? That's what usually happens. Right? Our minds will play games with us. Yo, stay in bed. You're tired. You're going through this. This. And then you end up showing up. And then guess what happens? You realize that this is why you need to show up. You needed to hear this message. You needed to hear me say, hey, you got to turn your adversities into victories. You needed to hear me say that you need to learn how to be the example. You need to learn all of these things. You know what's funny? Every time that I didn't want to show up and I showed up, I always learned something. I always had a breakthrough. I always felt something. You ever not want to go to the gym, and then you go to the gym and then you realize, bro, thank God I went to the gym. I feel so good, man. Sheesh. That was me the other day. I didn't feel like going, but I was like, yo, Nano, you got to go. And I went, and after the gym, I was like, sheesh, man, thank God I went to the gym. My body looked good. I was taking my shirt off in the bathroom. I was flexing a little bit like, yeah, Nano, let's go, baby. You looking good. But I would have never gave myself that experience had I stayed in bed. See how it works? You look at the moment, the experience I was able to give myself, the confidence boost, the belief boost that I was able to give myself. Because at one point throughout the time, I was arguing with myself, like, yo, should I go? Should I not go? Bro, just leave it for tomorrow. You good? Just work, whatever. And then I was like, nah, let's go. And I went, and look at what happens. Those be the best days. So family, those are the 5 human regrets. We'll go over the other 5 next week when we get on the call. But if you guys got value from those 5 human regrets, put a 555 in the chat box, right? These are in that book, right? Yeah, you got to read The Leader with No Title. Phenomenal book. Such a good story too. I love the story. There's a whole story behind it. But I knew I wouldn't be able to, go over all 10, because I would literally have to be on the call all till probably 12 to finish it. And I actually have a call in 3 minutes that I have to do. So I appreciate you guys so, so much for hopping on this call. Remember, guys, everything that I teach you guys are things that I've learned and things that I've applied over my lifetime. And I only teach you guys this because I want nothing but the best for every single one of you guys. I want you guys to realize what your full potentials are. I want you guys to realize that you are meant for more than what you guys are settling for. Trust me, every single one of you guys are already multi-millionaires. You guys are all the best versions of yourselves. It's already inside of you. You are already working your dream business. You already have that dream job. You're already living in that dream condo. Your kids are going to the best schools. You have that beautiful bank account. Your parents are retired. All of that is already yours. You just need to decide to become the person that is deserving of those things. That's how easy life is for you right now. All of those things are already yours. The car, the house, everything is already yours. The peace of mind, right? Because in reality, the biggest flex in life is having peace of mind. What's all this money, all these things without peace of mind, right? The peace of mind that you want is already inside of you, but you have to commit to the mastery of yourself, guys. You have to commit to become the person that is deserving of the things that you want in life. Once you commit to that, that is one decision. I made that decision in 2019. And today I live an amazing life because of what? Because I committed to the mastery of thyself. And by law, I became deserving of all the things that I asked for, right, fam? So I love you guys all. I appreciate you guys even more. I pray you guys have a beautiful rest of your weekend. I'm going to do a quick prayer for us, for those who want to stay on the call and allow me to pray over them. And we'll wrap it up right there. So everybody just bow your heads really quick and let's pray. Father God, thank you so much for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Friday morning. Because we made the wake up list this morning, we know that you are not done working on us. Continue to work on us, Father. Continue to eliminate the negative thoughts and the negative things in our lives that are no longer serving us. We are committed to becoming the best versions of ourselves. We need energy. We need strength. We need determination to go out there and show up even on the days when it's hard. We want your voice in our head whenever we think that we're not capable, whenever we doubt ourselves, whenever we're insecure. Remind us that we are more. Remind us that we are created in your image, God, because sometimes we just doubt ourselves a little bit too much, but we need to have belief, not only belief in you, but belief in ourselves, number one, because once we believe in us, we'll believe in you and we'll believe in everything that we're capable of. So we are so thankful for the lessons. We're so thankful that you created this amazing community where we can hold each other accountable and we can grow together. We are so thankful for you, God. Thank you, thank you, thank you for our families, for our health, for this day, for this community. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We are all grateful. We love you and we appreciate you. In God's name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you, God. He is the greatest. He is committed to us and we are committed to him. So I love you guys all. I appreciate you guys more than you guys could ever imagine. Thank you guys for making me better. Thank you guys for forcing me to be on these calls every single morning, because truthfully, I couldn't have done it without you guys, fam. So I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your weekends. And I will see you guys again on Tuesday at 10 a.m., 10:15 a.m. as I set everything up. All right. Love you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Leave a comment. Let me know which one was your favorite of the 5 human regrets that I went over, and we'll cover them as we go, fam. God bless you guys. Sheesh. Let's go.